Hi everyone, welcome back to Let's Do Bonsai on this absolutely glorious day. The skies are clear blue, absolutely fantastic. You might remember a while ago we went and did the Scottish show. Well, I actually bought a few pots up there, so we'll have a look at them a little bit later at the end of the video, I think. But not long after coming back from the Scottish show, we had the South Yorkshire Bonsai Society's monthly get-together, and Kevin kindly did a bit of a talk on sharpening tools, the importance of keeping your tools sharp and clean, and did a bit of a description on a how-to of keeping your tools sharp, clean and tidy. So let's go and have a look at that, and then I'll see you again in a bit and we'll check out the pots I bought. I hope you enjoy Kevin's talk.
We've got to determine is why tools need sharpening. Anybody got any ideas? Correct. I mean, we could make them smile and that would help. Any ideas why the tools could need sharpening?
Alternate cutting angle.
Pardon?
Alternate cutting angle. If
no, not really, because it's from manufacture, so therefore it is. Right.
The sharp cut is a better cut. The sharp cut
you get a cleaner cut.
Oh yeah, but why? We're trying to determine why. For a start, chips in your cutting edge.
Yeah.
A lot of tools have a stop. It could be that after many years of sharpening, the gap won't close because the tool isn't closing properly. Because as you sharpen it, the gap gets bigger. That stop is there to stop it any excess pressure on. So it could be that your tool has actually come to the stop.
Yeah.
So what you have to do, I'll pass it round, is grind a notch in there so that it allows those two anvils to close. So that could be one reason why. As I said, the other is that over time you could have chipped, you could have dropped it, you could have hit a stone while you were closing it and get a chip on there. And the other thing is with this type of cutter, if you're using them on larger type branches, what can happen is that those two anvils, instead of coming together nice like that, they eventually spring a little bit more open, so that they might close at the bottom but not at the top, which you can see on those slightly. These are an old pair that I use for root pruning, and often what happens is because the roots are slightly harder than the branches, these flare out and it will close at the bottom but not at the top. So what I have to do is hammer that slightly further round so that I get it nearer closing. I'll just pass that round, and then you can see what I've done with that notching to allow those to come together. And that particular one, if you can see, is an example of when it needs notching. I'll pass that one round, and you'll see that when you hold it together, there's a gap.
So do you notch the peg?
No.
Notch that, yeah.
You might as well notch that, because if you start notching the peg,
yeah, it'll get weaker and weaker and weaker. Yeah.
And
Had my finger in between that peg once or twice.
Oh,
Right
nice.
down, come.
Me too, yeah.
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 Did it here a few, well, a couple
So
of
that-
months ago.
There are a few examples. Now, if we've got chips, the first thing that we need to do is grind a chip out, which on that type of on that type of tool, there are several methods. I generally use this and just get in like that and like that and grind it back so that all the chips out. You've then got to be careful to ensure that those cutting edges are parallel. So the easiest way is just hold them up to the light, and you'll see on that pair that it's pointed at the front, it's at the front but not at the back, at the lower portion.
That were like that last pair, weren't they? They were like that.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one, Val?
No, I don't think they have.
Okay, let's determine what we need to do. We need to look at the tools and why and how, and what we need to do then to start finding out what's wrong with them. Once we've determined that, then we can look at a method of what we're going to do. The method with branch cutters, as I say, is first of all, whatever it is that's causing it, you need to get those jaws parallel. Once you've got them parallel, by holding it up to the light, that's when we come to start removing material. I use mainly diamonds now because I've got them readily available. I have a little diamond file like that, and I've got a pack of assorted diamond file as well. I'll just pass those round.
You don't use a stone then?
I don't tend to use a stone. Well, I do sometimes, but the problems with it's a little bit of a minefield with stones. There are different types of stones that you can buy, and some are softer and harder than others. For example, this is what they call black silicon carbide, which is a very, very hard stone. You've got a softer silicon carbide, and you've got something called aluminium oxide, which is quite a soft type of grindstone, which is this in here. And the reason that it's in, I generally put it in water about a day before I'm going to use it, so it soaks up all the moisture. And that is quite a soft abrasive. The reason I leave it in water is because so that there's moisture in there already, and it doesn't clog as readily. This is a quite a hard stone. I tend to use them by hand because I find it easier, and actually take the stone to the tool. As opposed to take the tool to the stone. So I just generally go, because I find it easier to actually manipulate the tool around the stone.
And what are you looking for? Bright spots that where it's taking it off?
Yeah, I mean you can see even that little bit of work, you can see that he's doing something.
Do you know what sort of stone that is? Is it like an Arkansas or something
What,
like that?
that?
Yeah.
That's a black silicon carbide dressing stick.
Oh, right. What, is it like carborundum or something? Man-made?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
you've got carborundum, you've got silicon carbide,
Yeah.
and you've got aluminium oxide.
I thought that were a lot smoother than, you
No,
know, from over here.
that's
it looks
quite a
yeah,
coarse.
isn't it? Yeah.
That's a coarse. That's probably around about a 60 grit.
Yeah.
That's probably 120.
Yeah. How much is that, sorry?
That's probably about 120.
20. Right, yeah.
And that is probably about 200.
I've got some Japanese water stones at home, and they go up to 8,000 grit.
Yeah, I mean, I've got
You
some
don't feel
at
like
about
it.
2,000 stones.
I've got an Arkansas stone.
Pardon?
You know an Arkansas stone, oil stone,
Yeah,
natural stone like, I use it for the chisels and
Yeah.
blade blades. Try and use them in years.
what I tend to use is, because I used to sell it and I've got loads of bits of it,
I did that to make it.
is a diamond cloth. And if you want to try that, see what it feels like, then you can come down after and just see.
How do you use that then?
Pardon?
How do you use that?
You just use it with a little bit of water and rub it on.
Oh right, okay. Not against a flat surface or anything like
Yeah, I mean, I've got it on a
that? Right,
plastic thing,
yeah.
which keeps it nice and flat. But that's just about worn out now.
Yeah.
Right. Do you want me to just go through sharpening something? I'll use this. Yeah, twice. To get them flat, I just tend to close it like that on it. It is difficult, but
To get them parallel.
yeah.
Would you put it in a vise rather than moving it by hand?
Well, you could do, but the problem then is you can't feel it. What do you put in a vise? Because what you've got to do is you've got to close that onto the fire. I found that the easiest way. You could use it on a stone. You can see that it's actually put a flat on there, but it's actually being able to feel, because
Rocking it about will give you a rounded edge.
yeah,
won't it,
'cause
rather than a
it's
flat.
easy to rock it like that.
Yeah.
Whereas if you try and hold that parallel and feel it so that it's still there.
I think if you put one arm into vice and then, you know, upright, and then put your file in between
you
and
could do,
just
yeah.
rest your finger on it. It's a diamond file, you probably won't even need to rest your finger on it. It's own weighted, probably do it.
But it does take.
I know what you mean though, when you say you got feel for it, and
Yeah.
when you're holding
Yeah.
it rather than.
Whereas if you've got that in a vice, then yeah, you could file it like that.
Yeah.
But it depends how you could.
Might,
I mean,
might end up like that.
you as an engineer know, Norman, it's not easy to file something flat. Whereas if you've got it, I use it like this. Doesn't mean to say that you have to. You know, you could put it in a vice if you want and use it like that.
If there's no jigs or guides or anything that you can get, so no, like with a chisel you can get a guide to get a perfect bevel on it. Is there anything
Like that.
Right.
Well, no, simply because
It's shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
how do you put
Which
that
shape
Well,
in
yeah,
the
that
line?
had to be awkward, wasn't it?
Yeah.
To find
I
out.
just wondered if anybody had tried.
You know, because it's really just touch feeling the way to do it, and keep looking and seeing where you need to take the thing away. That's why if you can do it and get it flat to start with, it's much easier. Sorry, people. But if you look at those, you can actually see. I've not done a lot, but they are. No, I meant the cutting edge. You can see that there's flats on there already.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of doing that, holding it up to the light, seeing where you need to take it off, and bring them all back. And once you've brought them back, there are two. Because these progressively get thicker and you're taking material off there, eventually you might have to grind on the inside to thin it down, because as that cuts into the branch that you're cutting, obviously the thicker the material, the harder it is to get through.
Yeah.
And what you'll do is you'll end up tearing part of it. So you need to reduce that on the inside, both on those and that type of cutter. You can see where on the inside of that it's been ground to thin it down.
Yeah, these are more complex with the undercut out there.
Yeah. And the way that I would normally do that is use a Dremel. Somebody posted a while ago, or a few days ago, weeks ago, that they got a big toolkit with stuff in that they might not use. And this is what you start using. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just
Put
in
it
the
inside
Dremel.
a knob cutter.
Correct. So what you can do, you just take your Dremel and just grind that away. That will sharpen the inside.
Is it that thinner angle of a type, won't it, to make it cutting easier?
Yeah, what you're doing is you're thinning that material down so that it makes it easier to cut in.
Yeah.
Because the thicker material, the harder it is. So eventually, once you, as you come back, you're going to get thicker and thicker material. So it's always handy just to remove the inside of that, and then you can sharpen it again. What I've what I did make up a while ago, I bought a long time ago a Dremel attachment, which is a routed attachment, and it's got a base, and this black portion slides up and down to give you your depth of cut. But I've just made it into an angle bracket like that. If you don't want, you can then just make it into that could clamp onto a piece of wood or into a vise, and you could turn it into a little grinding tool, so that you can, instead of having one like that, I mean, or just put an angle bracket on your actual Dremel, tie wrap or jewellery, tie wraps or jewellery clips around that, and then you can do the same, put that in a vise or screw it onto a larger piece of wood, and then you can use that as a grinding attachment. I don't know whether you've got any of these grinding attachments, but you know, you can pick them up for a few pounds, and that negates having to buy something like that. You can also use ordinary files if you need to. There again, just the same. You need to clamp it slightly. Once you got the feel, you can go backwards and forwards along it, which, just in that short of time, you can see how shiny it's become. Yeah. Any questions on anything? We've covered that. I just tend, as I say, to use it by hand like that. I'll follow the actual way of the tool as opposed to going up and down. When you're sharpening an edge, try not to go along the edge, because what will happen is that eventually it'll cut in like that, which and cut a groove in. So you go across the tool like that. There again, it doesn't take a tremendous amount to actually sharpen them. The hardest part is getting the jaws parallel. Just take your time. I mean, it might take you, depends how bad they are, it might take you, you know, an hour, 2 hours, but at the end of the day it's going to be worth it. With the other thing that you can do is, just as an improvisation, if you've not got a vise, you could use a pair of wall grips like that, and then they fall off.
They're good for changing gear on motorbikes when you broke nearly broke foot leads as well.
And what you've got is that quite sturdy, and then you can do it like that, or with the cloth.
That'd be ideal now for running your file in between, wouldn't it? You know, to make sure they're parallel.
Yeah,
just a little touch on that. Loose
I mean,
stick an elastic band on it, on the other end, and then so it keeps.
I've tried it with an elastic band, and it's no. You've got to, if you do it by hand, you can actually feel the pressure that you need. Whereas
with the
how
elastic.
strong is the elastic band? I've tried all different things, and the easiest method that I've found is just to hold it,
Yeah.
and you can feel the pressure. The problem with this file, though, is that it's not flat. Any engineers know why that isn't flat?
Depending what it's been put in before previously.
No.
And we're working down using the same spot all
Simply
the time.
because that is slightly curved. That is slightly curved because it's not a flat file. A flat file is similar to that, but it actually tapers at the end. And the reason is that when you're filing, your natural action is to do that. So to get a flat surface, that's why that's curved. An actually true flat file is flat like that, but it tapers at the end. So that's why not using that is correct, because you're not going to get it flat. Just a little tip
I
on
wouldn't have
that.
thought if them cutters are hard and tempered, I wouldn't have thought an ordinary file would cut them that well. I mean, they're supposed to be tempered, aren't they, for hardness?
Well, you saw how long I did that for, and you can see how shiny those edges are.
Yeah. That's stainless, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
Stainless
stainless.
tends not to be a
Stainless is softer.
That's carbon steel, yeah.
Yeah, but even so, I'll use my old one.
Usually when they are, they skate down, don't they, files without...
They're not. They are slightly hardened,
Yeah.
but
Not high quality though, not
you know,
like a blade would be. It's like lawnmower blades, isn't it? You can file them.
yeah, you know, it's not just 3 or 4 strokes, and it's taking it off.
Well, I don't, you know, on a blade, like I said, pocket knife, I don't think file would do all of that. It'd skid down, wouldn't it?
Well, it all depends on quality.
They're hardened a lot better, aren't
Yeah.
they? Just try running it down there. It is doing. It is doing. Can't believe that. It's supposed to be a good old Sheffield blade. That.
Right,
Yeah, it is. It's doing it.
cutting edges. Generally, when you have a cutting edge on a tool, you have a primary and a secondary angle. The primary angle is usually fairly shallow, so it gives you a tapered entry into tooling. That's only, these tools have only got primary angles. Now, because of the sharpness of the primary angle, you can quickly lose the edge because it's thin. It's something that we call friable, which breaks easily. So what you do is, after the primary angle, you do a secondary angle, so it becomes much stronger. So, for example, that tool has just got one angle. That's got 2, but it's still only got, it's got 2 primary angles. And because of that, if you hit anything, you could chip it easily. So what we tend to do is, once we've got the primary angle, we'll just gently, I'll use I'll use
scissors,
this
it'll just go in the
because
close.
I can curve it slightly. That is the primary angle. What I'll do is I'll increase the angle to give you a secondary angle. That's, you can just about start to make out where it's taking it. Yeah. And what that will give is, that'll give you a stronger cutting edge. But also, once you've ground that primary angle, just give you a grinding medium, just a wipe on the reverse angle, because there might be a slight burr come over. So just angle it again and just dress it like that. And as you see there, there's a little bit shinier there, so it just gives you, takes away that likelihood of any burr.
I've got a little leather strop that
That's fine.
get them off.
Yeah. I mean, commercially they use leather straps for, and what that does is that polishes it.
Yeah.
Because, especially when we've got resinous trees, the finer the finish that you can put on that edge, the less likelihood for the resin to stick. And that actually is another reason why your tools might be blunt.
Yeah, so resin.
All the cutting edge might be coated in resin. So before you start sharpening, just have a look. And if it's all black and coated in resin, you might just be able to wipe that off, and it restores the edge without going into too much trouble.
What's the best thing to use to clear the resin off?
Paraffin cleans it off, doesn't it, I think?
Yeah, I mean, there again, I mean, you could use a stick,
Sorry,
you know.
them over here.
Yeah.
No, the two that you've just been.
What, that?
Yeah, and the other one. Thank you.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I mean, anything.
That
Camellia oil, but that's
It gets under it,
expensive.
wets it,
I
won't it,
just tend to use this material. I mean, as I say, you could use a grinding stick. I would say probably about a 200 grit.
What about IPA?
What's it cloggy grit?
Graham uses an abrasive rubber. I think they call it magic eraser or something like that. And that will clean it. Or you can buy abrasive blocks that have got like foam filled, and just use that, and that'll take them off. I mean, I've got that, which is there again, diamond. What I have, which I used to sell, are these diamond sharpening blocks, which you can buy if you want. There's two types. There's one with this flexible material, and there are some available that are an electroplated product, which is what these files are. And I think they're an American manufacturer. And you can buy those in all shapes and form, in blocks, little hand sticks.
So there's them sort as well, ain't there, which are
they're
different
yeah.
They're almost fine. You know, I said they're quite fine, all three.
Yeah, I think
there's no really close ones among them.
That's 220. That's No, that's probably about a 120, no, 200.
I can never tell which
That's,
is.
yeah, red, yellow and blue.
And that order.
That's your course the screws. See, what I've got is I've got a red and a yellow. The red is normally about 180, 200. The yellow is about 300, 400.
What's that? A wad of different bricks?
Yeah, yeah,
When you grind it, still what's coming off will go between them and stop it skidding on it. So that's quite cool stuff.
just different format. Right, I think that concludes it. If there's any more questions.
You know when you put the square edge on the front, you
Yes.
then sharpen off from the outside. Is that where you're bringing your blade, your sharp edge?
What, on that?
So you filed it between the two blades, didn't you?
Yes.
To square it off. When you're sharpening the outside, aren't you, to bring that to a fine edge?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Providing it is still fairly thin.
Yeah.
Once you start coming down to there,
Yeah.
it starts becoming thicker. So then you have to grind the inside to relieve it, to make it thinner.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, those cutters, my older ones, I probably had those 25 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, they do last, providing you keep on top of it.
Yeah.
I mean, if anybody's got any tools, I can have a go at sharpening them. Julie. So, yeah, that's fine. If you want to have a look at anything in more detail,
So that was Kevin's talk. I hope you enjoyed that. It's still really sunny and shiny out here. Everything's growing in here. I've thinned out the herd a little bit in here. I bought a house for my mother in another village just a couple over, and lucky me, it's got a nice garden, it's got a greenhouse and plenty of room to hide trees. So I've hidden quite a few trees in that back garden. It means I have to go over there quite a bit to see to the trees and to see my mother, so you know, it's all good. But Scotland, while we were in Scotland, I bought some pots. So these are some of the pots that I bought, and these were in a box marked down to £10 for everything in the box. And I thought, oh my god, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these larger round ones. That's probably the smaller one of the 6. You can see there it says PK. The K is for Kleboe. It's Catrine pottery in Scotland, and if you Google Kleboe, I'll put some information on Kleboe up on the thing. The guy's an artist, a potter, a really nice chap. Both him and his partner, his wife, had an absolutely fantastic chat with them, and they were really, really nice. But these pots, I was like, I can't just take one out of the box. I'm going to have them all. I got a bit greedy, and I was like, £10 for a pot like that, you know, never been used, brand new, different, you know, a nice pot, different. So I had to have them all. Greedy, I know. But what we'll do is we'll put some of the trees that are in some normal plastic garden centre pots. We'll get them into some of these. These smaller ones, towards the end of the day, they were also selling a box full of these at £10 a piece. Now I've paid £20 and £30 for pots like this in the past, and there were lots of them in a box towards the end. I know Peter got 6 for 40 quid or something, and they're really nice, really nice pots. I don't know what to say really, apart from they're really nice, they're really cool, and they were super cheap. I did buy a couple more pots. There's a larger one over here which is sat underneath there, and that's a nice big pot which is going to have a tree in it. It's another beech tree. I bought the beech tree off Rob Atkinson whilst I was up in Scotland. I said to Rob that if it doesn't sell, I'd have it, and he did me a bit of a deal. So we'll do hopefully a video in the not too distant future. I'll go up to Rob's because Rob's still got the tree, and we'll get it potted up. Jades are doing okay. Lots of new growth on the jade that we cut back. Still probably work to do on it, but everything doing really well. So that's going to do it for this video. I'll edit this one and get it out to you as fast as possible, and then I'm going to get straight on with another one. It's about time I started pouring these videos out. We're now at the end of April. Summer's now starting. Now it's June, so you know, let's get on with it. The summer solstice is happening in 19 days, so yeah, we better crack on and get on with it. We've got Polly up there climbing on the roof. She does like to go on the roof. Anyway, get out there, make the best of the rest of your day, be kind to each other, animals and the planet, and as always, I'll see you again in the next one.